On August 18, 180 BC, the first empress and empress dowager recorded in Chinese history, who had successively installed two young emperors and twice ruled as regent herself, thus becoming the first woman in China to preside over the court and claim imperial authority, styled herself as Zhen, a pronoun that throughout China's 2,000-year imperial history remained an exclusive prerogative of the emperor. Liu Ji died as a result of the sick dog calamity. Before her death, Liu Ji handed control of the state's military power to the Liu clan, which triggered the rebellion of the Liu and ultimately led to the extermination of her family. After the veteran ministers who had remained loyal to Emperor Gaozu Liu Bang joined forces with the imperial grandson, Marquis of Zhuxiu Liu Zhang and his brothers, to eliminate the Liu faction, they considered the matter of succession. Since the young Emperor Liu Heng, installed by Empress Dowager Liu, was not a descendant of Emperor Hui and thus did not conform to the legitimate line of succession, the ministers carefully assessed the qualifications of the Liu princes, their personal abilities, and the political weight of their maternal clans. They settled on Liu Heng, the Prince of Dai, who lived in relative obscurity in a distant territory, was known for his kindness and benevolence, and enjoyed a good reputation. His maternal clan was the weakest among the contenders, while his mother's family, the clan of the Dowager Princess of Dai, was known for its good traditions. Therefore, the ministers dispatched envoys to escort Liu Heng to Chang'an to inherit the throne. When the envoys met Liu Heng and explained their purpose, to escort him back to Chang'an to inherit the throne, he was utterly astonished and found it hard to believe. As the fourth son of Liu Bang, Liu Heng had never enjoyed his father's favor. At the age of 8 he was sent off to the desolate northern frontier to serve as a regional prince. For 15 years, under the guidance of his mother, the Dowager Princess of Dai, Liu Heng had stayed clear of the political struggles at the central court, focusing instead on governing his own domain, developing agriculture and production, and diligently educating the border populace. Thanks to his efforts, the local economy and the cultural life of the people flourished. Content with this way of life, Liu Heng had never hoped to return to the capital, let alone imagined inheriting the great Han throne. Moreover, at that time, the young Emperor Liu Heng, installed by Empress Dowager Liu, was still formally on the throne. Being cautious by nature, Liu Heng wondered, since he had played no part in the campaign to destroy the Liu faction, how could the opportunity to succeed the throne fall to him? Thus, upon seeing the envoys, he was not at first delighted but instead grew suspicious. Although Liu Heng's misgivings were natural, he had not considered the situation from the perspective of the veteran minister's interests. These, having eliminated the Liu clan, knew that the young Emperor Liu Heng, installed by Empress Dowager Liu, would, once grown, inevitably threaten their very lives. Thus they concluded that Liu Heng could not remain, he had to be deposed, and a new emperor chosen from among the sons and grandsons of Emperor Gaozu Liu Bang. The new ruler needed to be benevolent and filial, virtuous and capable, and, most importantly, free of any ties to the Liu clan. Among Liu Bang's descendants, only Liu Heng, Prince of Dai, met these conditions. It was for this reason that the ministers dispatched envoys to Dai to escort him to Chang'an to inherit the throne. As for Liu Heng, Prince of Dai, going to Chang'an to inherit the throne, his officials were divided into two camps. One, marked by extreme caution, argued that the situation remained uncertain and advised the prince to decline on the pretext of illness, so as to wait and see how events unfolded. The other, led by the military officer Song Chong, maintained that the Liu clan had lost popular support, the empire's loyalty had returned to the Liu house, and therefore Prince Liu Heng should proceed to Chang'an to assume the throne without hesitation. Liu Heng decided to consult divination to determine the outcome, and the result was extremely auspicious. Thus he made a preliminary decision to enter the capital and inherit the throne. To guard against any mishap, Liu Heng remained extremely cautious on his journey toward Chang'an, advancing step by step as though treading on thin ice, fearful of falling into a trap and losing his life. First, he sent his maternal uncle Bo Zhao ahead on his behalf to negotiate with the group of veteran ministers and verify that the situation was genuine. When Liu Heng's party reached a point 50 li from the capital, he then dispatched his trusted attendant Song Chong to inspect the road into the city and ensure it was safe. Upon arriving at Weiqiao, on the outskirts of Chang'an, Song Chong found that the officials of the court, from the chancellor downwards, had all gathered to give him a grand reception. Relieved, Song Chong went to Jialing to report back to Liu Heng, who, reassured, continued his journey. When he reached Weiqiao, the assembled officials greeted him with full ministerial ceremony, and Liu Heng, in turn, modestly bowed in reply. At that moment, the Grand Commandant Zhou Bo, the highest military commander in ancient China, holder of supreme military authority, stepped forward and requested, "I beg a moment's time to present something in secret." Song Chong responded, "If what the Grand Commandant wishes to present concerns state affairs, let it be said before all the ministers. If it is a private matter, know that a true ruler is without private interests." Hearing this, Zhou Bo knelt and presented the imperial seal. Liu Heng declined politely, saying, "Let us discuss this further at the Prince of Dai's residence in the capital." At last, the cautious Liu Heng, supported by Chen Ping and the other ministers, entered the Dai prince's mansion in the capital for formal talks. During the meeting, Liu Heng, after making several ritual refusals to the throne, finally agreed to accept the imperial position, to the great joy of all the ministers. Shortly afterward, Marquis of Dongmo, Liu Xingjiu, seeking to make military merit, entered the palace together with the Grand Coachman, Marquis of Ruyan, Xia Hoing, and openly declared that the young emperor was not of the Liu clan and therefore unfit to rule. They expelled him from the palace, and that very night the young emperor and his brothers were executed. In the palace struggle that wiped out the Liu clan and saved the Han dynasty, the three sons of Liu Fei, Prince Jiahui of Qi, the illegitimate eldest son of Emperor Gaozu Liu Bang, played a major role. The second son, Marquis of Zhuxiu, Liu Zhang, was deeply favored by Empress Dowager Liu, for he was the son-in-law of her nephew Liu Lu. When Liu Zhang learned from his wife of the Liu clan prince's plot to rebel, he immediately sent word to his elder brother, King Xiang of Qi, urging him to lead his army west at once. Meanwhile, Liu Zhang himself, together with his younger brother, Marquis of Dongmo, Liu Xingjiu, prepared to act as inside responders in Chang'an, to destroy the Liu faction, stabilize the Han, and take the opportunity to enthrone Liu Xiang. Unfortunately, King Xiang of Qi, Liu Xiang, acted too hastily. By unscrupulous means he deceived and detained King Zhe of Langia, taking command of Langia's forces by forcibly reorganizing them under his own authority. This deeply offended Liu Zhe, who bore resentment ever after. Later, when the ministers deliberated over enthroning Liu Xiang, Liu Zhe and several officials objected, saying, "The king of Qi's uncle, Si Jun, is a cruel and violent man, a tiger wearing an official's cap. The state had only just escaped disaster because of the Liu clan. To enthrone the king of Qi now would be to foster another Liu faction." By contrast, the Prince of Dai's mother, Lady Bo, is a sincere and upright person. Moreover, the Prince of Dai is a true son of Emperor Gaozu, still alive and the eldest surviving among them. For a son to succeed his father accords with rightful succession, and for ministers to support a kind and virtuous ruler is a source of reassurance. Thus the ministers resolved to welcome Liu Heng, Prince of Dai, as emperor, and they dispatched Liu Zhang to inform Liu Xiang of the destruction of the Liu faction and persuade him to dismiss his army. Marquis of Zhuxiu, Liu Zhang, having distinguished himself in suppressing the Liu clan, was at one point promised the title of King of Zhao by Emperor Wen of Han. However, when the emperor later learned that Liu Zhang's true intention at the time had been to install his elder brother, King Xiang of Qi, on the throne, he was displeased and only granted him the title of King of Qingyang.